everyone, welcome to Book Talk Tuesday. Today I'm going to talk about Bloom, which is a new sci-fi. It came out in February and it is a trilogy, so the other two books will be coming out soon. This one is about these three kids who each have like these weird allergies. One of them is even allergic to water. And throughout all of this, you learn about them, and then all of a sudden this rain comes and their allergies start to clear up and they start feeling better, but everybody else in the world starts having allergy reactions and weird things happening. And then they do find out what they think is going on. You're going to have to read it to find out, but I want to read an excerpt from the book to give you just a little bit of how this book goes through. Air tumbled into the helicopter as the soldier shoved the door open. Anaya looked down at the island's rocky slope. She spotted a scrawny goat standing on a boulder, and then they were over forest, the helicopter's shadow flashing across treetops. Impatiently, she searched for a break in the tree line, a marshland, a lake. That's where they'd find Dad. Her insides gave a twist when she remembered how he'd looked on the video call. His wild, dirt street face, the things he'd said. Can't get off! They're everywhere! Over the pounding of the helicopter's rotors, the soldier shouted, "I'm not seeing any lake." Neither was Anaya. Her eyes skittered anxiously across the forest. "Thought you said you knew where this place was," the soldier sounded testy. "I do. It's sort of bean-shaped. I've seen pictures." "You said you'd been there." "It was a while ago, years ago actually, when she was just 5. "It's on the northeast end of the island," she said. "Should have seen it by now," the soldier told her. "This place isn't that big." "It can't have just disappeared," Anaya said firmly. "One more circle," the soldier told the pilots over his headset. Anaya shook her head in frustration. "It should be right here." "All I see are trees," said the soldier. Anaya stared down, then stared harder. Cold electricity prickled across her skin. "Those aren't trees," she said. And then the helicopter dropped suddenly, like something was yanking it from below. And that, my friends, is what you want to read and find out, because when you get to the story, So that was the prologue, and then it starts into chapter 1. So you definitely want to read that. The book is amazing. And then after you read Bloom, you will be glad to know that Hatch comes out in fall 2020 and Thrive in spring 2021. I can't wait to read Hatch after reading Bloom. So make sure that you come by our library and check this out.
Good afternoon. For my book talk today, I'm doing a standalone historical fiction book called The Night Diary by Veera Hiranandani. Okay, the main character of this is Nisha, and she is actually writing diary entries to her mother, who had passed away in childbirth when Nisha and her twin brother Emil were born. And Nisha got the diary for her 12th birthday, but she writes it in secret at night. There's stuff that she tries to keep personal to just her. She's sorting out her feelings. Nisha's afraid to talk to other people, and she's more of a listener. But this is a way that she's able to talk and figure out the world around her, and that's really, really important, because her world in 1947 changes completely. I'm going to start by reading you a little bit here from one of her diary entries to her mother, and then I'll tell you a little bit more. So this diary entry she wrote was from July 19th, 1947. "I touched the small bump where the rock hit me. We went a different way to school, down another dirt road and through the sugarcane, but it took a long time and we were late. After school, we ran all the way home without stopping. When we got home, we stood catching our breath outside the door so Dottie wouldn't ask why we were out of breath. It's because we're Hindus, Emil said. He looked around and started to whisper again. There's lots of places all over India where the Hindus and Sikhs and Muslims fight one another all the time now, not just here yet. Kazi tells me what he reads in the papers. That's why those men came to the house yesterday. They said the Hindus should leave, and they don't want Kazi living with us." "Because he's Muslim?" I asked, but Emil didn't answer as he ran into the house and to our room where he worked on his drawings until dinner. I thought about those boys. They were Muslim. Everyone knows who is Muslim, Hindu, or Sikh by the clothes they wear or the names they have. But we all have lived together in this town for so long, I just never thought much about people's religions before. Does it have to do with India becoming independent from the British? I don't see how these two things go together. Sometimes Emil knows things I don't. He talks to people more and goes to the market with Kazi. He has lots of friends at school. He doesn't mind if his words come out right or not. I wish I were more like Emil. I don't have any friends except for Sabine. All kids play together at school, no matter what religion we are. Sabine is Muslim, and she and I always have lunch together. She doesn't have many friends because she doesn't stop talking and never listens. I don't mind. I'm a good listener. Nobody ever mentions the fact that you were Muslim, Mama. It's like everyone forgot, but I don't want to forget. The truest truth is that I don't know any other children whose parents are different religions. It must be a strange thing that nobody wants to talk about. I guess we're Hindu because Papa and Daddy are, but you are still part of me, Mama. Where does that part go? And that ends her entry for that date. Shortly after that, Emil, Nisha, Daddy, Kazi, her father, they're all on the run for their lives as they are forced to become refugees, as the fighting around them just explodes and the violence becomes more than they can handle anymore. And along the way, they go through tremendous challenges, even down to just fighting for something as simple as water to survive, because there's no more water in the wells, because so many people are fleeing for their lives from what became Pakistan to the new India. And the wells are dry, and they're beating each other to death, trying to get this basic survival tool. They encounter violence on the trains. They have to sneak around and travel at night. The food becomes in short supply. Now, this is historical fiction, but it was something I'd never learned about myself in school. I found it really interesting to learn about. The author actually based a lot of this off of her own father's experiences. And what's kind of scary to me to think about is a lot of this is still going on to some degree in our current world. You know, you can see it still on the news today, all the people immigrating to other countries. So it's kind of interesting to see this other perspective in other country. And there's a lot you can learn from here. It's a great book. I highly, highly recommend it.
Epilogue, and then you have the 2 weeks later, and then the next page starts with chapter 1. Prologue, not epilogue. Prologue. So that was the epilogue, and
Prologue.
huh?
Prologue.
Why do I keep saying epilogue? Okay.
Do you want me?
Yeah. That was the epilogue. Brian, still silent!